Hey, what's happening? It's Green Thumb. So we're going to be planting some of my cannabis seeds later on today, and we're putting them in these. What's in this one? Yeah, we had jalapenos in that one last year. So if you guys look in there, see little bits of dirt and whatever. These things, those little pots, they can have all kinds of nasty stuff in them from last year, right? You can have mold spores, pathogens, insect eggs, all kinds of stuff that you don't want regrowing with your little tiny seedlings, because those seedlings, they're so sensitive, right? So any little bit like that that's still in those pots can recolonize those pots, and they can affect your seedlings, make them sick, kill them, wipe them out. And there's nothing worse than losing your harvest like that. I mean, let's say you were doing your tomatoes, right? You started them 3 weeks or a month before you plan on putting them outside. What happens if you get some sort of pathogen in there and you wipe out all of your tomatoes 2 weeks into growth? Now you're 2 weeks behind schedule and you're trying to get caught up. And at that time of the season, I mean, everybody knows what stress is like when you've had some of those seedlings die and you kind of have a timeline when you want them in the ground. So I'm going to show you guys what I do and how I clean them, and I highly suggest you guys do the same. Some people, they kind of have the thought of it's just dirt. If you plant stuff outside, there's all that stuff in the soil too. I get that, but when it comes to seedlings in the greenhouse and that sort of thing, I'm not taking any risks because I don't want to lose anything. So I'll set things up and I'll give you guys a run through on what I'm doing. All right, so here we go. Get your bucket. Get your pots. I'm going to start with some of this. I used to be an Amway business owner. This stuff's really nice. You can pretty much drink it. It's not going to make you sick, but it does a fantastic job. So I'm going to start with some of that. Two capfuls. Going to fill the pot up. Whoa, runaway cap. Going to fill the pot up. Dump these suckers in there. Like that. So what I did before I started filming this is I've already rinsed these. I just filled the bucket up with water. I already rinsed them off to get the majority of the mud out. All I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little scrubby like that. All right. Where am I? There we go. Sorry about the shadows, guys. It's not the best work environment here, but it's what I got to work with. So, I'm going to take my little scrubby, take my pot. Just going to give it a once over. You're trying to loosen all the dirt, right? Doesn't take long. It's just a quick one. Put it off to the side. I'm just going to work my way through all of these. I'm not even worried about rinsing them right now. They're just going to get thrown in the sink. When I get all these scrubbed out, I'm just going to dump that bucket of water, rinse it out, and then put these all back in, give them a rinse, and move on to step 2. So there's a huge difference already. Just from having a little bit of a scrub, they're pretty much spotless. Give them all one by one here. You know, I know it kind of seems weird that we're sterilizing stuff and then we're going to fill it back up with dirt. But is it really worth it? Is it worth taking that chance of losing your crops? Or in my case, losing a whole bunch of weed plants. I'm not taking that risk. That'll set me way back. Some of the seeds I'm growing this year I don't have any extras of anymore, so what I've got germinating is what I've got. So that's it for this. I've got more in here. I'll finish off what I got, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, and we're back. I also wanted to mention, for those of you that are using your 72 cells, we're using from last year, right? This one's new, so I'm not worried about it, but I'm just using it as the example. If you're going to reuse your cell trays from last year, I would also clean those too, as well as your watering trays or your holding trays, right? Give them a clean too. So I just want to show that. I'm not going to clean these like that, I'm not worried. But as I said, these are new. So we've got them all done. Another benefit to going through them all like this is you're going to find the old janky ones from last year, right? So I'm not going to reuse this, but better I know now than before I start putting dirt in it and it falling apart on me. So that's just going to be a leftovers. So here we are. We've got all of them cleaned. We've got our bucket of soapy water. Just going to dump that out. Going to give it a rinse. And I'm just going to use the bucket to give these things just a quick cursory rinse out here before I put them back into the bucket with some clean water. I'm going to throw them all back into the bucket with some fresh warm water. So I've got a bunch in the bucket. Just going to give it a good slosh. You could do this in your bathtub. You could also just put this plug back in the sink. I don't even know if this thing works. Look at that thing. That thing's as old as dirt. So I'll get the rest of these done here, and I'll bring you back for the next step. Gonna put these off to the side, like I said. I'll do the rest of them. I'll be right back. All right, so we got them all rinsed off. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but you know, these things are pretty much brought right back to brand new condition. Okay, so we've got them all rinsed off. We've got our bucket. Next thing you're gonna need, everybody's favorite, bleach. Not this one. This one's brand new. There we go. Bleach. So keep in mind when you're doing this, when you're working with bleach, the concentration is going to be strong enough that it will strip color out of your clothing if you're wearing any. So I'm wearing work clothes that I don't care if I get bleach on them or if I get stain or anything stripping from the bleach. So it looks like we're going with 2 because there wasn't enough in that last bottle. All right. There's our bleach. They say you need about a 10-to-1 solution. But like I said, I've already cleaned them with this. So this took out most of the problems that I would normally worry about. And now we're just going to do it with bleach to make sure that we kill everything, right? I mean, for any of you who've had mold in your house, like black mold, you know your #1 solution is a bleach water solution. We're going to fill that up. Go. Rinse some of that bleach off my hands. And now we're just going to let those sit in this bleach water for about 5 minutes. So I've just got them, they're just sitting in stacks. The water's going to get all in there anyways. Remember, they all have holes in the bottom. If you have sensitive hands to chemicals like this, you may want to use a pair of those rubber dishwashing gloves. You might find that helps. I'm not too worried about it, but so get those all up in there. And I know all of you preppers out there probably have 10 bottles of bleach at your house. Don't forget, after 6 months, an open bottle of bleach loses 20% of its active component, right? So your bleach will not be as strong. So keep that in mind when you guys are cycling through your bleach, especially if you're going to use it for water purification. Okay, I'm going to go turn this camera off. Let those sit for 5 minutes and I'll be back. Okay, and we're back. I've had these in here for about 10 minutes or so. I just went and took care of some other things. So we're just gonna dump this out. We're gonna let them drip. Don't forget, don't get bleach on your clothes. Gonna throw them back in the bucket. Multi-step process, right? Back in the bucket they go. Fill this back up. We're going to fill it up with some fresh water. Sorry about the shade, guys. I've literally got a light right over my shoulder, and to work here I have to continually block the light. And all I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna let the bucket overflow a little bit. It's gonna flush most of that bleach out. And I'll just let these sit in this water for a minute. So now we're looking at pretty much a whole just bucket full of fresh water. And these little pots. Just gonna give them a good old sloshing. And then we're just gonna dump it out. I'm rinsing off the bottom of the bucket. I'll show you why in a second here. So, for those of you who've been watching my channel for a while, you're gonna know that, or maybe you might remember, I did a video similar to this last springtime. But I'm redoing it because I know when I started this channel, I had, very few subscribers who watched that last video. I'm up to 1,800 and some odd subscribers, so I'm redoing the video here so all the new subs can see what's happening. So all I'm gonna do, that's why I turned the bucket upside down. Just gonna flip these over. And let them sit like that for a little bit. And I'm just gonna kind of let them drip dry like that, and when the bottom of my sink is dry, I'm just gonna individually just put them up in the bottom of my sink. But take this off the stand here. So that's what we're looking at. So like I said, in a few minutes, this sink will be dry, mostly dry. Doesn't need to be perfect. And then I'll just take all these apart and I'll sit them down. I pretty much just need the outsides to get dry because in, I don't know, half an hour or an hour, I'm just going to be filming a whole other video planting my weed seeds that I've germinated that I did on the video 2 days ago. I've already got, I think, 16 seeds germinated in about 48 hours. So I've got my specialized soil outside that I pre-make with all my amendments in it, and I'm just going to start planting seeds right into this. So I'm not worried about the outsides. I mean, I'm not worried about the insides being dry because I'm going to put soil right back into them. I just want the outsides to be dry so I can work with them and put tape on them and labels and stuff. So that's all there is to it, guys. No biggie, right? And it's worth it. Take in mind, if you lose some of your seedlings because you ended up with some sort of pathogen or mold in there, then you're out those crops. So this has taken me 20 minutes, give or take, to do this whole video. And obviously part of it is setting up the camera and talking to the camera. If I was just doing this straight out without any kind of camera work interruptions, I'm probably looking at 10 minutes max to do all this. Alright guys, so that's all there is to it. Have a great day. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little notification bell so you'll be updated on what else is going on. And there's going to be probably a video coming out every day. Today, I have plans for 3 to 4 separate videos to come out. There's going to be tons of content. So, subscribe, leave me a comment if you have any questions, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Green thumb out.
Peace.